Welcome back to some professional Starcraft Brood War from the Africa Star League Season 6 Grand Finals. Two players who remain fluid but also so strong. In the bottom left, the Terran player. In the orange, it is C. And in the top right, it is the one-time Starcraft 1, and then one-time Starcraft 2, and once again Starcraft 1 professional player. It's Rain. We're on Circuit Breaker, an iconic matchup, Protoss versus Terran, iconic players. And we're in cross, but Jimmy. Oh my god. Those are my options? Those are the okay. Well, we didn't have the technology to do things by 1%. It's either 10% or nothing. We can turn it down in the mixer. So, for those who don't remember, Rain actually transitioned to StarCraft 2 relatively early on, like 2011, 2012, and had probably the most success out of any player who, after StarCraft 2 was already established, came from Brood War. He played kind of a style like he plays in Brood War. Defensive Protoss, solid. And he became the macro Protoss, like the stats or the Neeb of today, kind of before they were a thing. But he's transitioned back into Brood War, which is very popular in Korea. And he's done well for himself as well. So far, C on the other hand, my experience with C, besides being a massive streamer, as I die here, he is a huge streamer, as well as when I was learning Terran and Brood War, I watched his guide. His guide was from 2016 or so. It was translated with English subtitles, and I always am amazed by the technology / lack of streamers who've been doing it for so long. Because in order to show his webcam, this is an aside, let alone his Brood War skill. In order to show his webcam, he would Alt-Tab on his CRT monitor, because of course we've been using those for 12 years, onto his webcam software when he wanted to show his face and yell into his, I assume, webcam microphone. Once again, I'm not a big Korean speaker, so I don't know what he was saying, but very animated about it. And also an incredibly accomplished Terran player as well. You might be like, this doesn't look like the Brood War I remember. Let me refresh your memory. We've gotten so many more pixels. So much time has passed. It's like, what? This isn't 60 FPS? Back in the day, you were lucky to get 12 FPS, alright? Dragoon scouting around. So this is TVP. Rain's going for an early expand. Now, I'm not a Brood War expert, but I know some of these openings. It's going to be the Dragoons just trying to keep a contain on the Terran player for as long as possible. Just try to keep him on those two bases. Make sure he can't move out. Maybe commit to some sort of two-base all-in, but more likely tech it up towards, well, in Brood War, mobility is a real issue. Like trying to get... How did that SCV get in here? The SCV gets in for C. He's going to see everything for now. And then a Vulture follows it. The path has been opened. A single Vulture... Well, the Dragoon easily going to deal with it, but still. The Vulture trying to get in, be a little cheeky. Probe getting chased out by a handful of Marines. So mech versus a whole lot of Dragoons, Zealots, and then maybe eventually Arbiters. Arbiters in order to use Cloaking Field and Stasis. And then High Templar for Storm. Every once in a while players will mix in Carriers, but that's usually on maps that are a little more defensible and thus wide open, like this one. Is Rain going to take? This is a mineral-only base at the third as well. It is going to be mech, of course. Spider-Mons finishing up. And, well, another iconic unit from Brood War. We're just going to pretend like this game isn't still being played all the time, especially in Korea. and like this is a slice of history. No, this was 2019. I'm not sure when in 2019. And this is the competitive meta with a lot of money on the line. What do we have? Is that an robotics facility is finished up? Is that an I can't see it, Rain. Observatory? Rain, he's a shield Protoss. They transcend time. He's gonna sit back. He's gonna make sure he has vision of anything that could hit him. He's actually pretty far back with his Dragoons. I believe he got Singularity Charge, Dragoon range, but I'm not 100% on that. Wait, can I just click and see? No. Maybe not. No, I assume eventually Dragoon range is necessary, if not one of the first things you get. He's going to be expanding to the mineral-only base. But unlike StarCraft 2, it's actually the Protoss who's lighter on the tech and heavier on the units. In StarCraft 2, Terran is definitely the more unit-heavy race, less reliant on gas, especially early on. But in Brood War, the Terran player really trying to build up a strong mech army. Well, speaking of strong mech army, he's actually going to move out. Siege mode has just begun, but the unsieged tank's still very strong on their own against Dragoons. There aren't that many units here to potentially deal with this. The Vultures are just going to run right by. Some Spider Mines next to the Dragoons. Rain will micro away. Looking for an opportunity. Laying more mines down now. With the Observatory, you might be able to clear them out, but the army's already on the way across. Siege mode doesn't take particularly long. A 2-base push. Are there any SCVs? It's not like he's going to build bunkers, but repair could be helpful. A wall, well, a pylon wall on the way. Vultures slipping by could eviscerate the entire mineral line. Going to get onto the high ground outside the third, one of the most vulnerable spots. The Spider Mines, dangerously close. One triggers, a lot of damage on that. You can't hold this. Rain's going to have to give up this base. 4 Dragoons are not solving this problem. There are 4 tanks, half a dozen Vultures, some Marines to make things more difficult. Siege mode is complete, and the Nexus is gone. What does Rain have on the way? He's adding more gates. That was the real issue. Oh, a support bay. Is there a Reaver? He's upgrading? I don't know what that upgrade is. Is that a Scarab one, or is that War Prism's? Not War Prism. Shuttle speed. Yes. Reavers? I mean, against sieged up tanks in this position, I guess they could be helpful. Oh, he's got a Reaver and 2 Zealots. You can see it. And dropping the Zealots on top. The Reaver in close range. The tanks unsiege. There is no anti-air. They pretty much have the run of the place. The Zealots will go down, but 2 tanks after drawing the friendly fire. Behind the sea, though, is expanding. He's using this this containment he's dropped on the Rain. Oh, is there an observer here? The Nexus on the way. Spider Mines don't have as much range as it feels like they do. If you're a Protoss, that is. A scan spots the Dragoons trying to slip out. Rain trying to slip his chains here. There is an observer on the other side. I'm not sure if Rain, well, he's about to spot the 3rd command center comsat under construction. And the shuttle feeling comfortable enough. 2 Reavers in a shuttle, and it has speed upgraded. There's very little anti-air. Our Goliaths in production, of course, at this stage. I'm not sure if their range upgrade is done. But the shuttle is essentially uncontested. He just has to be careful about Spider Mines on the Reavers. Drops out the Reavers. Gonna take a shot. Already wait. I thought... Okay. I thought a Reaver died there, but it looks kind of weird for that. I think that was a turret building. Into the main goes the Reaver drop. Could do so much damage to the SCVs. They both target one. A little bit... Oh, a bit of a dud? It was a dud. Oh, Dragoon's getting blasted. The splash damage is incredible. Oh, another shot. Trying to split SCVs, but it's a dicey endeavor. The shuttle taking a lot of damage from turrets. There are Spider Mines, but of course Rain suspects that. How do I get rid of it? There's a way to get rid of the unit display. This one. Okay. So that's the button I press for that. I'm a professional. Shuttle's still sharking around. That was not as much damage as I think could have been done. The targeting on the Reavers was a little disjointed. Is that another? Oh, this is a Zealot drop to eat some of the Spider Mines, potentially drawing friendly fire in. He's going to bring both shuttles in simultaneously. He can drop it all out. onto the mineral line, and that's going to be doing it well. Actually, the Reavers get distracted by the tanks. The tanks, of course, take a lot of damage. He's going to kill one. Both Reavers escape. The Zealot's drawing a lot of fire. Is there a retarget? Yes! Another shot into the mineral line. Meanwhile, an attack coming in. Rain not really microing this, but he will be able to pick up a couple tanks. There's more behind. There's a lot going on right now. That's the summary. The Reavers are still stuck in the base. How do I get rid of the minimap? All right. The Reavers are just kind of chilling. Do we have a kill count on those? Well, if I could bring up the units tab again, we're struggling. I have less APM than 1/10 of these players while trying to observe. Okay, now bring all the things back so I can see them. Oh my god, the struggle! At the end of the day, Rain has kept... Is there still... That shuttle has not yet died. Like, where are the Goliaths? Why are they slacking? Are they not getting paid enough? I wouldn't be surprised. Terran players are historically very stingy. Oh! Did that hit? No, that was a dud. And yes, sometimes the Scarabs just aren't inspired enough in life to actually hit anything. Pacifist Scarabs are a serious danger. Go over here! Where are the Reavers? Another attack. He's hitting the third again. The base is forced to lift. The comsat feeling very left out right now. The shuttle? It looks like the shuttle has gone down in the main. Actually denying this third... Nope. It got out with one Reaver. One Reaver was killed, badly bruised. The shuttle will be forced to retreat. But the attack on the third forced the base to lift. So, minor victory for Rain. And the thing here is, he's got a vulture wall. I don't know if that fully walls off the vultures, but it definitely is a choke point. Because C went for the attack on his third, it actually forced him to expand to a base with gas. And I'm sure Rain isn't too unhappy about that. He's now going to be taking all the rest of the bases. The mineral base has been reestablished. Lots of probes there. A whole bunch of gateways in the main. Has he teched up at all? That is a Templar Archives on the way, so Storm coming to the table. And also expanding to the bottom right, a place where C's going to have to put a lot of commitment and a lot of units down there in order to break it if Rain is given some time to set up. Oh, Spider Mines. Finding connections on the Dragoons. A couple Dragoons not going to make the difference. That's a lot of tanks. But does he drop on top? Zealots on top. Friendly fire drawn onto some of the tanks. Is that enough to break through, though? It's just Dragoons on the high ground. And high ground is quite an advantage. But the shuttles are shut down and the Dragoons are forced back. I feel like that was a little cost ineffective there for Rain. How much can he afford to do? Vulture's looking for an opportunity. There is a cannon at the the mineral third. The big concern, I think, for Rain is if C is allowed to max out, and he has the army he wants. He has plenty of tanks and vultures, a few +2 attack. Is there an armory? Where is the armory? What is the hotkey for the minimap? All right. There's got to be an armory somewhere. Oh, double armory. Okay. He's upgrading +2 weapons, I have to assume, and either +1 or +2 armor. Yeah, +1 armor. More Dragoons filing out the pixels. A scan spots him as the vultures try to move into position. Kind of wondering, where are you, Rain? I'm watching. The bottom right, I don't believe it's been scanned, but he's about to take a look. And there is no wall and no production set up yet. So... What are the upgrades? Rain has +1. Does he have a Stargate? He doesn't have the option for Arbiters yet. He's dueling with the Vultures out on the map. These Vultures will be cleaned up. Rain is expanding all over the place, but that is how he stays alive. He can afford to give up a base or two if it means he gets a better position to crush the army. Storm should be being Storm is halfway done. More upgrades on the way, +2 weapons. And a Stargate has begun, but Arbiters are still a long way off. So that could be the sticking point of this match. The supply difference is not nearly as impactful as it would be in StarCraft 2, as breaking a sieged up Terran is incredibly difficult without something like Arbiters. You can throw a lot of units at the problem, but those tanks hit real hard. And Spider Mine zoning out the Zealots with Goliaths to help against any shuttle drops. More Spider Mines cleaned up out on the map, and that's kind of, you can kind of see the momentum of the game by that Spider Mine spread. Right now, C's kind of stuck at home. He's not really able to move out. He's invested a lot in upgrades and a lot in just holding down his bases, whereas Rain has so many units, he kind of has the run of the place. But will he be able to break through? He's got Zealot bombs in the shuttle. The tanks are sieging up. A lot of them are committed to bases that Rain is nowhere near. They're retreating. Only a handful of tanks at the natural. A beautiful storm on the Vultures. So far, a whole lot of Zealots going down, but more filing through quite a choke point. Tanks at the third, gonna find some big hits. Not all being targeted perfectly on the Dragoons. Breaking through into the natural. The stream of Protoss continues. Is there energy on any more of these? Some Spider Mines connect on a big group of Zealots. He's trying to break all the way up into the main, but Rain's supply is plummeting. He gets towards the natural. The tanks siege up in a nice position. There are no more Zealots to protect these Dragoons, though. A storm hits a couple tanks. It's not going to finish them off, but it's going to get damn close, and the Dragoons can finish the job. But now the Gateway unit count is starting to thin out. The natural has been beaten back. C is struggling to maintain his main, and losing the upgrades would actually be a pretty huge deal. He starts 3-2. He's not going to finish it. He's going to need to rebuild those armories. 3 High Templar come down with enough energy for Storm. The tanks are closing in. Rain has dealt a lot of damage. Not a game-ending blow, but losing the upgrades, losing a whole bunch of SCVs. Of course, he's got plenty more in the main. And the tank count has kind of been reset. How many more tanks? There are only 3 or 4 tanks out here. That is a dangerously low number. You're looking at, you want 10, 20 tanks in any sort of maxed out death ball, and he's far from maxed out, and he doesn't have a death ball. Vultures are cheap and easy to produce, but they're there to buffer for the Zealots, to harass, the Spider Mines, to keep them at bay. Can the Dragoons actually make it down here? Once the Zealots get there, he scans and realizes he needs to commit more units to the fight. A supply depot, a wall. He's doing whatever he can to keep Rain from flooding through into the sea base. Tanks targeted down, both have fallen. More reinforcements on the way. The Dragoons now doing very well for themselves. A Templar looking for a storm. Finds a decent one, but another tank will, well, he'll have to wait until another round of Zealots. Continuing to produce at home. Looking to catch some of the reinforcements. A nice backstab move here. The Observer a little bit out of position. That means the Spider Mines are all going to connect on the retreating units. A win for C. He's looking for the Templar. Doesn't target it right off the bat. Gets it now. The Spider Mine backstab has kept the reinforcements at bay. It's going to be a little bit more time on the clock so C can rebuild his infrastructure and importantly, rebuild that tank count. 1 singular armory has been rebuilt. We got half a dozen, 5, 6, 7, 8 factories here. A whole bunch of gateways. Is there an Arbiter? There are multiple Stargates. There's obviously an Arbiter Tribunal somewhere. He's building 2 Arbiters at a time. And that's going to be the next phase of the game. Is there anything to deal with it? Is there a science facility? There is. Is he building any science vessels for EMP or defensive matrix? I mean, well, I answered my own question. There is a science vessel. An Arbiter is already here. The cloaking field making things a little more difficult, but there are plenty of comsats for now. Pulls back the science vessel, looking to protect against the Zealots with the Vultures. D-Matrix on the forward tank will keep a lot of these units at bay. Vultures from the back, looking. There's only Dragoons left. As long as he has vision of them, he's going to easily be able to take them out. Rain may be overextending a bit here as his supply drops heavily. Not that many tanks were taken down. And suddenly C is looking at 150 supply. He still has a strong tank count. He has science vessel tech. Rain is still expanding, but the Arbiter came in, and it was too little too late to really pressure C at this stage of the game. What are you doing? What are you doing, Arbiter? What, are you going to throw some pillows at people? He does approximately 1 damage per attack. Really, it's more emotional damage than it does physical damage. More Dragoons coming up. The upgrades +2. Is the Forge still spinning? Yes. +2, +1. More Arbiters on the way. Everything's gonna slow down now for at least a little while if Rain knows what's good for him. Where is the Arbiter Tribunal? I'm trying to find it. Oh, there it is. I don't know if he has stasis yet. Well, he doesn't. That answers my question. Oh, there's a production tab. How convenient is that? Does it take away from the drama? I know there was a lot of drama in Brood War over, like, whether production tab should ever be added, because otherwise it makes it too boring. Alright. Maxed out on both sides. Is EMP done? I have to assume so, because that's the best counter to the Arbiters. If you EMP them and there's no stasis to remove units from the fight, and also just remove shields across the board, that's going to help out those mech units even more. C is... mining out takes a long while. Only just now is the main base starting to mine out. The refinery is depleted, which means it's mining very slowly. The tanks, what are you doing out here? What are you doing, tanks? Why are you out here on your own? A bit of a misclick there. Now, coming through this choke point ain't gonna happen. A stasis on the science vessel. How many more are... He has 2 science vessels. That seems a little on the low side. Another big threat is recall. Just bringing a huge group of units in towards the main. Oh, the Arbiters, 3 Arbiters. He drops right on top. An interesting choice there. He drops more. That's a real efficient way to lose like 30 supply of units, Rain. That was more like a... He was so busy asking whether or not he could. He didn't stop to ask whether or not he should recall units directly into C's army. There is a high ground here, but if the Templar gets sniped off, another storm. But the tanks are holding the line. Rain is desperately trying to break through, and it does feel desperate. There's another command center waiting for its opportunity. Rain has all this production, but I don't know. At this point, I think the focus should be on denying any more bases out of sea. If you choke them out, like the natural is mined out now. The main is mined out. The third is running out. There's really only going to be 1 gas base sooner rather than later. So if you can, you don't even have to be efficient. You just have to not lose your critical mass of units. You need to be able to continue producing dozens, and he is producing dozens of Dragoons and Zealots per minute. But now C is pretty damn close to maxing out. He's got +3, +1, which is equal with Rain. Those upgrades take forever to finish, but now they're done. Rain is really committing. There's only 1 tank, but a whole bunch of spider mines. The Zealots are running straight through to try to draw him out. Some Templar in the mix as well. C is just going for it. He's pulling the cord. He's actually going to bring himself back around to try to deal with this. This is his only mining base. Well, it's not mining right now, but some of the units coming back. Beautiful storms on the tanks as they come up the ramp. An EMP, did it hit the Templar? It looks like there's not enough energy for any more storms. He's going to try to cut off these units, smash it, and then bring his forces back around towards the natural. C did lose some tanks. The tanks are the most valuable commodity. Well, science vessels, but vultures will be replaced near instantly. Same with Zealots. But Arbiters and tanks. EMP nails an Arbiter. There's another Arbiter without enough energy for anything. The tanks all siege, but there's a lot of Zealots underneath. The scans need to be constant in order to see this. Another science vessel comes into the mix. He didn't have vision for a split second, it looks like. Uses another scan. The Science Vessel at 1 HP. Not even close. Throws an EMP. Doesn't hit the Arbiter, but does give detection. The D-Matrix is enough, and C wipes the floor with this army. But he lost a lot of tanks in the mix. Another dun 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 dun. Where are you going? To hell. Or wherever they go. To the Kala. But now a high ground here. Is there enough energy for stasis? A decent stasis hits a couple tanks. And there's not a scan. There's not nearly enough units here to fight this. The constant stream of Zealots and Dragoons will be enough. This Science Vessel wants to get in on the action. It has no energy, and it barely has any HP. More Spider Mines getting all up in it. Continuing to run back. C is actually kind of losing the war of attrition. Rain going with... Well, he's not going to let him have another base. He's just not going to let it happen. And that is the path to victory. As C's his supply dips and drops, and so does he, as Rain wins the war of attrition. And he wins the game. Pretty solid game. Rain with a constant chokehold. He took bad fights, but when you have like, what is it, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bases. 7. So even Mech can't compete with that. And I think he did enough damage early that he kind of slowed down the death ball production and was able to work from there. So hopefully you enjoyed that. If this ends up on YouTube, like and subscribe. I'm not sure how much of my user base is over the age of 50, which I assume is Brood War fans. I'm sorry, I apologize, I didn't mean it like that. But what a game.